When they first formed, we were known as being light cavalry. We then had the Blues and Wolves, when they then came on the scene for the king at the time, they then became the heavy cavalry. So you look at the two horses behind you, the Blue and Royal horse, this gentleman here who's the Blue and Royal, denoted by his red plume and his blue tunic, he'd ride the horse with a black sheepskin on the back there. Okay, that would be classed as a heavy cavalry horse because his build and the size of the horse himself. The other horse directly behind it would have been classed as a light cavalry horse, more slender looking, believe it or not, and that's what they should be. Every horse that comes into the House of Cavalry has to be at least 16 hands or above. Anything less than that will be rejected. 9 out of 10 are Irish draft or Irish cob, born and bred purely specifically for the House of Cavalry. These guys primarily, whilst on duty for Her Majesty the Queen, could potentially be in the kit from about 11 o'clock in the morning right the way through until 8 o'clock in the evening. Now, if they're mounted, they're certainly mounted for the best part of 4 hours in that day. So these horses are used to carrying people, and people of this weight. An average rider, this young man here, probably the best part of 6'3", without his state kit, probably weighs the best part of about 14 stone. With his state kit on, he probably knows weighs about 16, 17 stone. That's then going to go on top of the horse. The saddle itself is a good 3 or 4 stone. So now you're looking at about 20 stone plus. It's got to go onto that horse's back. That horse can do the longest parade it's possibly going to do in the best part of 8 hours. And that can be the Lord Mayor's parade. We say for Her Majesty the Queen and certainly for the Lord Mayors. So these guys can potentially be in the saddle for 8 hours. And the same for those horses. Hence why the horses need to be big, they need to be robust, they need to be able to stand the test of time. Okay, if you look at the lifeguard then, you can turn around. On the back here you have the cartouche box. This back in the day, back in the early 1800s, used to go to war on horseback. This was the ammunition box. This now doubles up as a mobile phone, cigarette box, and God knows what else. But back in the day, that's certainly what it was. It was denoted as the ammunition box. Okay, turn back around. Okay, on here you have the red cord. This was used as a pull-through for the old muskets. Maybe the old musket, as it indeed is for a rifle now back in the so the likes of the soldiers going to Afghanistan, they all have to pull through the weapons system, get rid of all the carbon. That's what this was utilised for. Okay. You see also the lifeguard wears his chin strap directly underneath his chin, underneath his bottom lip. Blues and Royals wear it directly underneath the chin. Again, I don't actually know the reasons behind it. The lifeguards seem to think they look smarter, and the Blues and Royals seem to think they look smarter than him, which doesn't make any difference really. The crosses themselves. These were born and bred from the French. We beat the French in the Battle of Waterloo. Cuirass means breastplate. You've got the Battle of Waterloo symbol by the eagle from the Turkish left. The French 105 eagle, so we captured it from the French, okay? Which is why we now have the cuirass. The French army no longer have cuirass, we now have it. So you can say goodbye to the French and welcome the English, and welcome the House of Cavalry for being the French.
Mais oui, mais oui.
We then have the sword. The sword was primarily made by Wilkinson back in the day, and again you should be able to bend the sword from the tip to the hilt. I'm not going to do that just in case it does break, but apparently Wilkinson sell it to us, or sell it to these boys now, and they said he can bend the tip right the way to the hilt. It's a 4-fold iron cast sword. Okay, you then got the sword knot, just there for decoration really. Then you've got the gauntlet. These are the big gloves that these guys wear. They were there as force of protection. So you can imagine when you're riding the horse, put your horse on the rein, you need to have some form of protection against your forearm. So you're now narrowing the space for what would have been an attack, which should have been from the French. You're narrowing the space with pinpoint accuracy from the swordsman against the actual gentleman himself. Okay? Then look at the jackboot. Jackboot they're both wearing. Back in the day, they wouldn't have been waxed or shined like this. They would have just been normal leather boots. But as things have evolved and we've moved on, we've got to the point now where certain things, like attention to detail, etc., mean certain things, certainly with the regiment. So these boots can probably take up to 4 to 5 hours to clean. Okay, these boots will come in as leather, like this, with no wax on them. 4 or 5 hours later, they'll end up looking like this. But that's a lot of hard work. Again, the jackboot was designed to narrow the point of contact from the knee to the point of the thigh. You can imagine when he's on his horse, his legs slightly bent, smaller area in which to take out the leg, take out the leg. But that coincides with the saddle. If you look at the saddle, you've got a big hump at the front on both saddles. With that, you sat behind it, the cuirass, the gauntlet, the jackboot, it's narrowing the point of angle for any form of contact when they used to go and fight. Spurs, like most things, any horse will move away from any form of pain, so you use the spur to guide the horse, and just to guide the horse and to ensure the horse goes in the right direction. Then you've got the actual black inside the horse's kit. Okay, the horse's kit, break it down as best we can. 2 sets of reins. So the rider, as he's carrying his sword, is then going to control that beast with one hand on 2 sets of reins. Why do we have 2 sets of reins? Why do these guys have 2 sets of reins? Should the main anchor or handbrake, ABS handbrake if you want to call it that, should that snap, you've then got the badoon bit, this one here, the round circle badoon bit, so you've got a secondary means in which to steer your horse. You then have the fly chain. Back in the day, again, when we used to go to war, used to use the tool to tether the horse to a fence in a lulling battle. Or nowadays, to use it as a safety net for yourself. Should you lose your reins, lose your sword, you go on your horse and hope for dear life you can stay on. You then have the actual headpiece itself, the headstall. It's there as armour and protection for the horse itself. Like in yourselves, you've got the crown on the top of your head. Exactly the same thing for the horse. You have the pole. Okay, the softest part of the horse is the pole. That's what that's there for, to protect that against a sword strike. I've already mentioned about the old brass bit, stake bit, acts as an ABS handbrake. Okay, black kit all the year. The horse's uniform itself, again, can take anything from 3 to 6 hours to clean. It depends on the individual sort of standard he wishes to achieve. Now these guys, when they go on duty for Her Majesty the Queen, they're all in competition with each other. So it's all marked on the stand of their own personal uniform. And they get a score out of 20. Anything less than about 8, the chances are they'll take off the horse and put him in the army jail for the day, and then be released later on to carry on the duty for Her Majesty the Queen. So again, it all comes down to attention to detail. And these guys put in the time and the effort to ensure they're turned out to the top standard. There's an awful lot of work that goes into it. You'll notice with the saddle, you can see it just on the side, lads. You've got a girth, you've got a surcingle. Should the girth be snapped at any point, you've got a secondary means in order to stay on the horse and keep the saddle onto the horse itself. This happened to me many years ago when I was going on duty for Her Majesty the Queen. The girth went, I stayed on because I had the surcingle. Had I not had the surcingle, it would have come off. I looked like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle on the floor spinning on my back. So it is there for a damn good reason. The breastplate, again, it's attached to the saddle. It's got the peninsula brass on the front. Again, it comes to the denotes the Battle of Waterloo. So you look at the front of his horse's hoof, he has a regimental number. This horse is rotten. So his number is 41. That's his regimental and army number. So you imagine each soldier has an army number. These all have an army number. So does the horse. On the right hoof, it knows what regiments he's with. In this case, Royal Horse Guards, 1st Dragoons and Blues of Royals. And on the back, there's another regiment, another part of the regiment. And on the opposite side, it's the size of the shoe that he has for the foes use. Okay, these horses, because they're bred to do the job, the nature of the job, they're probably going through shoes. And these 2 to 3, well, between 2 and 3 weeks, they'll go through a full set. The Household Cavalry themselves, High Park Barracks, Knightsbridge, they hold 300 horses. That's a lot of horses. So when they go on parade, troop of the colour, which these guys have been involved in this year, troop of the colour. Okay, both these are troop of the colour this year. That's a total of 180 horses, I believe, on parade. That's a lot of horses, a lot of manpower, a lot of time and effort. Okay, so here we are. Well, these guys certainly need a round of applause. They've been here all day, demonstrating. Any further questions that you want to direct, you need a director direct to me, or certainly to these individuals, they'll be able to give you a bit of information. Has anybody got any questions? Any questions? Whenever they find flat, you look at the foot guards, and the foot guards faint to the troop of the colour. If they're not fainting, stick to attention, they get charged. You'll notice they all walk into each other and try and hold them up.
But if they do happen to fight any of them,
they get charged.
Really?
They're taken off and get charged. The chances are they're probably not drunk. Prior to going on break, they've not had breakfast, or they've been out drinking the night before.
So now we know.
It's always good for us to know these guys have some kind of silly was in my case more often than true the colour. I used to sit there and the guys either side of me used to take a bit of a guess as who's going to go who's going to fall first, take a bit of a bet on it.
I was going to say, you open the book. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry? Okay. I should have brought it up earlier. Underneath here, when they used to go to war, there used to be a cloak. Inclement weather, they pull out the cloak, put it straight on. When it's not inclement weather, it's used as a force of protection. So rider, mid-drift, not exposed to the water, it's directly in front of them. And it's all about protection. These guys are all dressed as they would have been back in the early 1800s when the regiments were first formed. And it's all about protection. Cross, that narrows an aiming mark or a point of contact for a sword or a strike. So it reduces the amount of body exposure to what would be a strike from a sword. Sorry?
Yeah, that's right. Ruby. Sit. Ruby, sit. Good.
First get on and get No, they have girls in the King's Train. Called a big
She's just trying to think of a job she did.
Yeah, we stay here and look at him.
The King's Train.
Call him. Call him. Yeah, there he is. That's right. Yeah.
It's quite a short list at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, that's right. Call him. There he is, yeah. Very good. Call him.